The Founder is directed by John Lee Hancock, and it tells the true story of a man named Ray Kroc, who was a rather unsuccessful businessman in the mid-1950s who stumbled upon a little restaurant called McDonald's. This restaurant fascinated Ray in the way that the food was delivered to the counter in such a short space of time, and the business model fascinated him to the point where he became a business partner and started franchising the restaurant out and turned McDonald's into what it is today. But at a price. When I first saw the trailer for this movie, it really intrigued me. Aside from the fact that it looked like a really well-made movie, let's face it, McDonald's is something that is a big part of everybody's lives. Whether you like it or not, it's one of the biggest companies on the entire planet. And for a lot of people, you know, we have childhood memories of going to McDonald's as a family and the cool toys that came in Happy Meals back then. So a movie about the story of how McDonald's came to be intrigued me, but this was so much more, and it is honestly one of the best movies I have seen this year. So on the one hand, like I said, you know, we have this fascinating movie of how McDonald's came to be, but on the other hand, the story of Ray Kroc. Now, I don't know exactly how much of this movie was true. It seems like a lot of it was. But this was a really fascinating look at this guy who just wanted to succeed. I mean, he starts off as, you know, a failing businessman. He had all these ideas that just weren't happening for him. And then when he sees this restaurant, this little McDonald's burger place, and how the McDonald brothers had invented this system of speedy food delivery, it genuinely seems at first that his intentions are good, that he just wants to get this thing franchised and out to the masses. But once he starts getting a true taste of success and starts becoming a little bit more powerful in the game, it's heartbreaking to see exactly the way he treats people, that kind of thing, and just lets success go to his head. But by the end of the movie, even though this guy did a lot of despicable things to people that cared about him and that he cared about, you're sort of left with a sense of ambiguity as to how you feel about him, because all this guy wanted to do was to make a living and succeed in what he was doing, and you got to kind of wonder if you would do things differently yourself. So Ray Kroc is played by Michael Keaton, and Michael Keaton has gone from being a really good actor who's done a ton of great films to becoming someone who, my God, this man needs an Oscar, and this could very well be the movie that does it for him. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if this cleaned up at least a ton of Oscar nominations. It is that good. The performances by everybody were absolutely perfect. Nick Offerman and John Carroll Lynch as the brothers Dick and Mac McDonald. They were, not just the performances, but the casting. They were so spot on in the way they played the characters as these incredibly sympathetic people that basically had their ideas stolen from them. And you just really felt for them. They were such nice guys, the way that they were portrayed in this thing, and, you know, kind of naive and innocent to how shrewd business can be. So aside from the performances, the film was really well shot. It was a gorgeous film to look at. The way that they captured the 1950s was absolutely fantastic. I always have a big respect for period movies, you know, because it's obviously quite a difficult challenge to get all the things that you need to make it look like it's in the 1950s, all the cars, the clothes, the set design, all that sort of stuff. But man, they did a great job of that. For the most part, the editing was really good as well, but on the other hand, it also was its major drawback. Now, this is pretty much the only thing that I could really fault the film on. There were a lot of scenes that were just way too choppy. There were some scenes that were just so fast cut from all different angles, and it was completely unnecessary. I mean, one of the things that they always say is a sign of good editing is when you don't notice it at all. I mean, think about it. A lot of the great movies, when you're sitting, you're so engaged in the story and the performances or the visuals that you just don't notice where it's being cut. But this movie, there were some scenes that were cut so heavily and so fast that it took me out of the scene, and it really made me notice it. So that was kind of a drawback for me. And one other little thing I probably would have liked to see a bit more of was the relationship between Ray and Joan Smith, who was played by Linda Cardellini, who ended up marrying him, because they sort of had this secret relationship while Ray was married to his previous wife, and I probably would have liked to just see a little bit more of their secret relationship and how they ended up together. But look, all that aside, this is an essential movie to go and see when it comes out. It was a fascinating look at not only the birth of one of the biggest things on the planet, but just the way that it all happened. And like I said, this Ray Kroc was a really fascinating character, played to absolute perfection by Michael Keaton, and it is absolutely a must-see film for 2016. I'm going to give The Founder a 9.5 out of 10. So I was lucky enough to go to an advanced screening of this movie last night. I don't think it opens, well, I think it opens in Australia later this week, but I don't think it opens in the US till next month or even January. So this may very well be the first review of The Founder posted on YouTube, in which case, yay me! But when it comes out, I cannot recommend this movie strongly enough. It is an absolute must-see film, and when you do get to see it, let me know what you guys think. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Drop me some comments either here or on Facebook. All my social media links are down in the description below because I like to talk about movies and I would love to talk about movies with you. I'll catch you next time. A rather unsuccessful businessman who in the 1950s stumbled upon a little restaurant who...
Click subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest movie reviews. Skynet will be taking over any day now, so what have you got to lose? Nyah.